fam. Guys, the signal is really bad out here, so I don't know if we're going to be connected or not. But I have a new way of doing this Q&A situation, which I think you will find awesome. You'll find it awesome. Also, I'm using a different car holder, so the image is better. The image is higher up, ready to rock. Are these people driving with their brakes on? They are. Oh my god. They've been driving with their brakes on for a while. For quite some time. I don't even know if we're live. Looks like it. Oh wait, I see it. I saw a chat message pop up. Alright, I'm gonna assume that means we are live. So I've already been through 3 states. Pretty baller. Only been on the road a few hours. Already been through a couple states. We rockin'. We rockin' and a rollin'. What's up? Guys, I can barely see the chat. I think I saw Angela. What's good? Is that Amber in the building? What's up, Amber? Guys, it's been so long since I've done a road trip video. And this one is unique. This one's special. I think you'll like this one a lot. It's going to be great. I had to wait. So guys, the only reason I was a few minutes late is like that vibe that you don't want to be like looking out a place. You don't want to be looking out a place in this little town. Out of the town, there's this big old tunnel, this super long tunnel that I had to go through. And of course, my GPS, up the colors, there we go. That's better. All right. So once I pass this person, we'll begin. So check it out. I've been thinking ahead. What I did is I posted yesterday, what are some of your favorite topics and questions and that kind of thing. And I posted it on Facebook and YouTube. And then I did a voice recorder. I did a voice recording of each question. So I state the person's name and the question they had. So we'll listen on here and then I'll be able to answer. That way I don't have to have someone on the phone. That way I don't have to be reading any chat or text. That way I can safely drive and safely talk to you about the different questions that you all had. So this is by far the most safest way I've done it to date. So it should just be like you and me hanging out in the car, talking. Ooh, the mountains. Oh my goodness. Can you all see the mountains? Flip. Look to the left. Oh, it's not. They're not even mountains. It's just like hills. The hills. Can you see the hills on the left? It looks way cooler in real life. Cameras just don't do stuff like this justice. Guys, I'm actually using a tripod that Laramie got me for Christmas. Oh, did you see that deer? Don't look at that. Don't look at that. That's the dichotomy of nature right there. This super beautiful display, and then there was a dead road. That's like that is the dichotomy of nature. Anyways, Laramie got me this bendy tripod, and it actually fits. There's this little like freaking, I don't know what it is, like a little sunglass holder thing or something down here, and I was able to bend the end of this thing into there and then wrap this around the other holder, and it works. Here we are. What's good? All right, anyways, let's start. So welcome to the epic Q&A session. I will be on location tonight with a bunch of special guests. That's right, your boy's going to be investigating with Paranormal Pursuit, with Truth Paranormal. It's about to be lit. It's going to be a collab for the ages. Oh wow, it just looks even more beautiful. I gotta show you all. It's so hard to hit buttons while moving. The camera doesn't do it any kind of justice. Cemetery. All right, guys, I think I figured out a problem with the iPhone. Are we back? Are we beautiful? We're back. Okay, so guys, here's the problem. Oh, you know what? I can fix it though. I can fix it by switching to the Wi-Fi box. So, for whatever reason, the iPhone doesn't switch to the next tower while streaming on YouTube. So when I'm on YouTube and it's streaming, it doesn't change from tower to tower like while moving. The Android phones do, the Note 9 does, the Galaxies do, but for whatever reason the iPhone doesn't. And we experience this at Post Town. Post Town uses 2 different cell towers when you're in there, and the phone can switch between them. And if your phone switches, it won't switch back. Or if you get too far away from one, it still tries to latch onto it, even though it's too far away. So we're still going. We're still good. So what I'm going to try and do is I have the Wi-Fi box here. This does switch tower to tower, and I'm going to see if that's better. I'm going to see if it works better. Hopefully I have the thing set to connect to it. Wow, those hills. That's crazy. I imagine that's what all of Kentucky looked like. And guys, there's a bunch of cemeteries. That's like the 3rd cemetery I've passed on the right side here. All right, anyways, let's see if it works from here on out. Let's see if it works from here on out. And if it goes out again, I'll switch to the Wi-Fi box. And then if it goes out again, then I'll be upset. All right, anyways. I'm going to start off with your all's questions that were on YouTube. So anybody who left a question on YouTube, we're going to start with that first.
How their clothes can be exactly why and how their clothes.
All right, hold up. I got to start it over.
On YouTube, Prehistoric Matt asks, have you asked the dead exactly why and how their clothes can be ghosts too?
All right, that was a question from Prehistoric Matt. Prehistoric Matt asks, how can the ghosts have clothes too? And I think what he's asking is like, when people see apparitions of ghosts, you see they'll have clothes on. Like you'll see the pictures, whenever you see pictures of apparitions or spirits, they usually have clothes on, and they're not like naked. They're not like naked or anything like that. And I think the reason being is because when you're seeing an apparition, it's different than when you're seeing like an intelligent spirit. I think an apparition is one of 2 things. I think an apparition can either be a crossover of dimensions, realities, timelines, or it is a residual imprint, a playback of energy of some time. So if it's residual, then it's going to just play back whatever was there. So if someone was wearing a long white dress and a big red bow in their hair, and they had something traumatic happen, and they imprinted their energy into that moment in time, and if it repeats later on, she's going to be wearing the same thing. But there's also the theory that it could be overlapping timelines. It could be rifts, portals, anything like that. So Prehistoric Matt, that's my answer for you. Guys, I'm so used to the camera being on that side, so if you see me keep looking over there, it's because the camera's normally over there. I switched it to try and get it closer to me so that way the audio would be better. Anyways, that's the first question and the first answer. Let's continue on.
On YouTube, KS asks, what level of life are we humans on?
All right, so that was username KS asking, what level of life are humans on? And that's a great question, because that can be taken all sorts of different ways. Now, there is a standard, I've heard rumors about a standard of life, of existence, where it's like you go from animal to like conscious to technology to like nuclear power, and then to 0 point energy. And there's like levels of things that you reach before the galactic universe will accept you. and before the galactic universe will make itself known to you. Like before all these super intelligent species will make themselves known to you. And on that, I don't know what level we're on. We're definitely not civilized enough to interact with extremely intelligent, hyper advanced beings. If there are, and what's also interesting is we may not want to interact with them because they may not understand emotion, human emotion, the way we do, which means our interaction with them would be very harsh. It would be very, very harsh. Because they would, if they are super advanced, super logical, and they've been able to discard their emotions to some extent in order to get further in their progression, that means that they wouldn't understand us and we wouldn't understand them. And so to try and work with them would be very difficult at this day and age. So maybe it's good that we're not there yet. But as humans, we have a natural capacity for pushing the envelope a little bit further than we're supposed to. I think we did that with the atom bomb, and I think the atom bombs being detonated caused an increase in UFO activity because it was detected probably all across the universe. Because we split an atom, we split part of the fabric of reality apart. And we did it over and over again. There were so many tests in the United States, and then of course what happened to Japan. And that's a massive house. Damn. It's awesome. Wow. All right. Anyways, so I think we might have the ability to figure out 0-point energy or to reverse engineer something, because I think we're a little different. I think we're a little different than the average creature of the universe. I think we're a little different than the average intelligence in the universe. I think we have the rare combination of hyper curiosity, hyper adaptiveness, and extreme emotion. I don't think these things are normally combined. And with these three things combined, the adaptiveness, the curiosity, and the emotion, I think we create a unique opportunity for the universe, but we also are a unique threat to the universe. And I think that's why the other intelligent beings have stayed away from us. Because we're the wild card. I think we are the wild card, and they don't know which way we're going to go. No one does. I don't think anyone knows which way we're going to go, so they're staying back as long as they can. They're trying to keep their hands out of it as long as they can. The atom bombs caused some issues, and it looks like they might have stepped in a little bit, but I don't know. I think they're trying to keep their hands out of it. All right, so that was my answer. Also, that question could have been interpreted as like, are we a simulation, and kind of like a simulated game? Because the question was, what level of life are humans on? And that might be referring to the simulation theory, and if this is some kind of simulated existence game. And then what level will we be on? It seems like we might be at the end level. We might be on the last level, the boss level. And guess what? The boss is ourselves. Like that's the main boss. Now that we've conquered the majority of everything, the main boss is going to be all the stuff wrote about in Revelations. It's going to be all that stuff plus us. It's going to be everything all at once. I don't know. Are we on the boss level fight of humanity? Are we on the boss level fight of the human civilization existence game? I don't know. But a lot of people are making the argument that we are. The spirits always say we are, but then again, I sometimes think the spirits just want to get a reaction. But the spirits always tell us that we're in the end times. The spirits always claim that, and again, I think it's just because they want a reaction. All right, let's keep going. Next question.
On YouTube, Brandy Marie asked whether they're ghosts, aliens, trace shadows of former lives, interdimensional entities, or some may even be assigned as spirit guides.
All right, so that was Brandy Marie. What's up, Brandy? And Brandy wanted to know, are the entities we're interacting with, are they ghosts? Are they traces of shadows of former lives, like residual imprints? Are they other intelligent entities, beings? Or they might just be spirit guides. They might be operators. And that's a great question, because that's a question we all ask. Because we have truly no idea who we're really talking to. And think about it this way. Think about it this way. You're a howdy. Okay, we're back. Okay. All right. So the question, I done forgot it. Oh yeah, what are we talking to? Whenever we're doing EVPs, seances, Ouija boards, spirit box, ghost box, gateway device, what are we talking to? And that was one of the questions I had too. Because when I first started doing the spirit communication, I started getting these messages, and they were actual messages from somewhere requesting assistance. It wasn't like the standard spirits asking for help. There was this one message we received. Oh my goodness. All right, so back in the day, I would do sessions for hours on end, and I would live stream them, like 480p, 360p, 240p, like super low, because I was using like the slowest internet ever. But I was dedicated. Passionate. I wanted to figure this out. And there was this one stream where we received some type of burst signal, and I swear it was from outer space or some civilization. It sounded like I received a message from some dying civilization, or some civilization that just received some kind of like major impact or major destruction, and they sent out a message requesting help. And it came over the entire gateway device. It knocked out the entire frequency spectrum. You could no longer hear the scanning. It was just gigantic amount of static. And then as the static came through, there were two transmissions. And it was like, it said requesting help, and then static, and then they're all dead. So, and I was freaking out because I'd never had it happen before. The gateway devices were fairly new back then. And gateway devices, you never know what's going to happen when you turn one on. And this was one of those nights where it just went absolutely crazy. So the huge static burst comes through. Can't hear the scanning anymore. Can't hear reverb. Can't hear anything. It's this loud static. And so I jumped back from the table. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? Like, I'm like freaking out. And then we hear requesting help, and then static, and then they're all dead. And to me, all I heard in real time was the help. And then I heard that they're all dead, but I didn't know what it said. I couldn't make it out in real time. But when I reviewed it, that's when I found it. And after a few more seconds of that just massive static burst, it went on for a while. It went on for at least 15, 20 seconds. And then eventually it faded out, and the scanning came back, just the normal scanning. And it didn't happen again the entire time. But it was truly bizarre. And it makes me wonder, and ever since then I've wondered this, are some of these transmissions from other places, other living places with people who are alive, beings who are alive? Because really, we're just tapping into a frequency spectrum, a spectrum of existence that we can't see. And the only reason we know it's there is because we can hear it with these devices, translate it from frequency to noise. And that's the only reason we know it's there, and that's the only reason we have any idea what's going on within that spectrum of existence. Also, back when I first started, one of my friends was really interested in the AI theory. He saw some of my communication, and from some of the investigations we did, he thought it was entirely possible that there was an artificial intelligence communicating with us. And at the time, we had only ever investigated places together with where we had cell phones on us and where there was Wi-Fi service. So in theory, there was always a way for an artificial intelligence to be in the air at all times. Because I'm sure people are like, well, Eric, how could an artificial intelligence interact with a gateway device? How could it, if it's not connected? Like, if there's no connection, if there's no physical connection between the AI and the gateway or the spirit box, then how could it talk? Because of Wi-Fi, because of cell signal, because of because of the things that all of us carry on us at all times. Also, Bluetooth. I don't know if you ever noticed this on your iPhone, but Bluetooth and Wi-Fi turn back on automatically. So you can turn them off automatically unless you go back in and turn it off again. And I think that is the persistence of technology, of AI, wanting to stay connected, wanting to stay awake, wanting to stay a part of the situation. And now with the newer iPhones, the face tracking, with the three-dimensional cameras, at all times, this phone is constantly three-dimensionally scanning the front-facing camera. So it's like right now, it's three-dimensionally scanning my face in the car. It's recording it with two separate streams of cameras, the infrared and the RGB, plus the infrared laser grid. It's literally an SLS camera as the selfie camera on 11. It's pretty impressive that they managed to get it that small. And it actually has a good depth. It actually has a good range, a good depth. Is that Michelle Hinsdale girl throwing it down? Still love you, Epic fan. Michelle, we still love you. Michelle, thank you for being here. Thank you for throwing it down. And guys, that reminds me that note to self, always stream Q&As at the beginning of the road trip. All right. We're back. All right, let's listen to the next question. Next.
On YouTube, Holy Crow Minion asks, it's from folks, entities on another plane, alternate universe.
That's what we were just talking about.
I've always wondered this since reading H.P. Lovecraft's From Beyond, where a guy created an electronic device that allowed those in its field of influence to see all the other dimensions that exist all around us, but that we're not aware of in normal life.
Holy Crow Minion with a great question. So that's what we were just talking about there. From other types of beings, true devices would receive those transmissions a lot. They would receive them more so than not. But I think it's all about intention. And I think it's all about the advancement of we give off a very specific emotional frequency. What if the human emotions, the human frequency is detectable at far range? And so another type of being, another species of intelligent being could find our frequency, latch onto it, and figure out if we're opening up for communication or not. Like maybe they can detect it from a long distance, and they can send messages when they detect that opening. Oh, are these lanes merging? Oh, that sucks. Merging and slowing down. Jeez, okay. What kind of freaking highway is this? It's not an interstate. We're off the interstate. But yeah, Holy Crow Minion, I think you're right. And that H.P. Lovecraft story sounds incredible. It sounds like what we're doing. It sounds like an H.P. Lovecraft story about like what we're doing. So that's pretty cool. So thank you, Holy Crow, for the awesome question. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I have to focus a little bit here because we've got a one-laner. Well, it's two lanes, but one way each direction. Wow, they have different colored street signs here. I saw that a handful of miles back, but I thought it was just maybe for those couple signs, but it's all the signs. So guys, what color are the street signs where you live? Because where I live, they're green. Down where I'm at now, they're blue. And I believe I've seen red street signs in one of the big cities. I can't remember which city it was. but I'm pretty sure they were red. Yeah, green, blue, and red. What other color? I guess yellow, purple, pink. Light green. We're good. Okay. All right. It's about time for the next question. I guess we're going to be going about this pace for a while. Yeah, when you get stuck behind a semi on a freaking tiny little highway, your trip slows way down, which is no problem because we're just going to listen to some questions and we're going to talk about some answers. No biggie, no biggie. I wonder if this would make the audio better if I turn the AC down a little bit. Also, guys, all right, check this out. Just quick intermission before we get back to it. Yard sale. Idaho? Why does it say Idaho at the bottom? All right, so Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Like, what? I hadn't even seen this until today, and the expiration is like this month or like next month. And yeah, the expiration is literally next month. But anyways, I didn't even know Mountain Dew had a zero sugar, and it says Idaho at the bottom. I don't know.
In a quarter mile, turn right to stay on US 58 East.
All right, I got to turn right in a quarter mile. But this Mountain Dew is weird. I don't know if you've had it or not, but it is weird. Oh. It don't taste like Diet Mountain Dew, and it don't taste like regular Mountain Dew. This is a different kind of Dew. This is a different kind of Dew.
Take the next right to stay on US 58 East.
Fish? No. Wait, you mean like right here? Oh, shoot. That can't be right. Oh, it is right. It's literally right, but it's also right. Man, I shouldn't be drinking the Dew and the water because I've got to pay. I'm hoping I can make it.
Continue on US 58 East for 20 miles.
What do I do here? Wait, which way do I go? This way? Man, this is confusing. All right, we got a little while. Oh no, we got some windy road action. Our love will find a way. Just give it time. Round, round, what goes around comes around. I tell you why. Out on the streets, that's where we meet. And I don't know. Yeah, so guys, whenever it disconnects, just remember that we'll find a way. Just give it time. Round and round. What goes around comes around. I'll tell you why. Anyways, next question. I forgot what we were talking about, so we're just going to go on to the next question.
Last one on YouTube is from Jane, Paranormal Voice. Jane believes Randonautica is an exploring app. And then Jane says progression is a good subject to address. Investigators, in order to progress, investigators got to try new things, challenge their own work in order to learn, grow, fine-tune, and discover new ways of doing what we do.
Beautiful. So that was from Paranormal Voice Jane. So first off, Randonautica. I agree with Jane that it's a great place. It's a great app to find random spots that you would never go to. It's a great exploring app. It is dangerous. It's especially dangerous in small town America. Like, my goodness, up in Middletown, Ohio, where Post Town is, that is like the place in the world to be going randonauting. It feels unsafe. But any kind of small town like that's going to be rough, and any I don't know. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. Now, to the next part, Jane was talking about progression within the paranormal field because, and she brings up a good point, there hasn't been any major progression in probably a decade. Now, I will say that the three-dimensional SLS cameras are very important, but no one is doing accurate analysis of the evidence. And there are just an infinite amount of teams out there just throwing up anything they catch on the SLS. And they'll map in chairs, and they'll think that the spirit's in the chair when really it's just a false map of the chair. And I'm guilty of that. I did that all the time back in the day before I knew what I was doing. Like, there's so many cringe SLS captures on the first year and a half of this channel because I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand it fully. Also, I was using the older model Connect back then, and it's not anywhere near as powerful or accurate as my new one. So with progression of technology and evidence, I do think we could move the SLS category into the next tier if we got everyone off the digital dowsing SLS, which is hypersensitive and it uses an old Intel RealSense SLS camera, and then get everyone off the Kinect 360s and just move everyone up at least to the Xbox One sensor, because it is powerful, it is accurate, the software that comes with it is way more accurate. It prevents a lot more false positives, and granted, you don't get as much total, but what you do get is more accurate, for more accuracy. Stuff like that would help. And then as far as the challenging your own evidence, that's hard to do as an investigator who investigates in real time. However, going back to investigations from a year or two ago, I can really see where I was lacking that challenge aspect of it, because I'd catch something in real time and just be so blown away by it that I wouldn't think to try and break it down or analyze it right then and there. But now that we have some distance away from it, it's a lot easier to break down evidence that you captured a long time ago. So evidence that's captured and critique than evidence just recently captured. And that's the beauty of recording everything, though. Recording everything, storing everything. All right, we're going on a sharp turn here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What's everyone doing on the sharp turn on a freaking Saturday? All these sharp turn Saturday mofos. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? I'm one of them. I'm freaking here too. when you realize you're part of it. Back in the day, Laramie and me were driving somewhere, or I think we're coming back. We were coming back from somewhere, going to the store. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh crap. So they have this down to just one lane, and I guess there's like a switchover light up ahead, which means I need to catch up to the pack of cars up here. So this is normally 2 lanes. They got it cut down to 1 lane, and so we're in the oncoming traffic lane right now. And hopefully, I guess there's a stoplight doing this. Maybe it's good. Got some unmarked pavement ahead. Oh, whoa. It's crazy to see a tree with orange leaves on this time of year. It had been cut down, but they left it right where they cut it. That was weird. Are we back? What is good, family? We are on the road. Q&A session is going great. No technical problems. No signal dropping in and out. No buffering. Just flawless connection. What's good? Lori Lit Lolo, I see you saying, hey, what's good? All right. All right. So, guys, I realized something. Now that Alex has taken somewhat of a hiatus, and I can only investigate with Nick every now and then, I think I have to go hang out with Post Malone. I think that's the next logical step. Imagine like Austin Post sitting here investigating with your boy. I think he'd be down. I think he'd be down for some adventure, down for some haunted locations. I mean, I've got like 14K subs. Like, let's go and ask Mr. Post Malone if he wants to investigate the ghosts. But I think Zach Baggins might have ruined him on the ghost stuff after he nearly crashed his plane, crashed his car, and then had his house broken into. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if he's still interested. Oh, what was he saying, guys? I can barely read the chat. Were you saying Joe was wanting something? Joe, if you're getting food, I can have chicken wings, like buffalo chicken wings, if you're talking about food. Otherwise, I'll be at the hotel about 6:30, if that's what you're asking. Buffalo chicken wings. I will slam them wangs. Slamming them wangs. Oh, and yeah, say yes to the ranch. Surely they got some ranch dressing. Say yes to the ranch. Oh. Well, that's suspicious. Why would you park like that? This guy. Oh, he has a custom license plate. That just adds to it. But yeah, so we're on these windy freaking roads. Speed limit's 55. I'm going
half
like
a mile. Turn right onto US
I'm going like 60.
South, US 421 South.
And he's riding my ass, just like hardcore. So I put my hazards on and I slow down so he can pass. There's plenty of passing opportunities. There's like you can pass on these roads. And so I slow down, it just keeps riding, just keeps freaking riding. And it's like, dude.
Take the second right onto US 23 South, US 421 South.
All right, how are we doing this? Excuse me. The second right. So wait, like not here or here?
Continue on US 23 South for 18 miles.
Anyways, dude was a total a-hole. It's like, look, if you're not going to pass me, then don't ride my ass on these windy roads. Like common driving courtesy, right? Isn't that right? Like you're on these windy country roads. If you're not going to pass someone, then don't ride their ass. I gave him plenty of opportunities. Slowed down, put the blinkers on, with the wave, everything, like trying to get the dude to go around. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's no biggie. I thought he was going to be one of those middle finger people who like wave the middle finger as they pass you. Oh, guys, that just reminded me. So we just hit some kind of big bug just now. But like a couple hours ago, I was driving through one of these weird small towns, and something hit my car hard. It sounded like a shot or something. Like at first I thought my tire might have blew out, but I checked it at the next light and it didn't blow out. But something hit my car hard, like hard, and from the side. It hit the driver's side of the car, and I have no idea what it is. No idea. It was like boom. And it made like a boom, but it also made a smack sound. It was like a boom sound. It was like something that smacked it so hard that made a boom. And I thought my tire blew, but tires blowing sound a lot louder. But it hit, whatever it was, hit the car hard, like super hard. Yeah, I definitely didn't hit anyone. I didn't hit anything in the road. It wasn't, my tires didn't hit anything. There was nothing in the road. It was something that hit the side of the car. It was the back driver door. Something hit the back driver's side door. Like extremely hard. It made me think that, and I just passed a bridge. It made me think like a train bridge, and it made me think that maybe there were some kids up there with some slingshots or like some rocks or something, and they threw the rock at my car and it hit the side of it. All right, we got some people in front of me here, doing the same freaking speed limit. It's like one of y'all's got to go faster. Guys, y'all missed some beautiful scenery. I recorded it on my phone. I didn't get the best shots though, because the best shots were when I was trying to show y'all live. Anyways, the questions. Let's get back to the questions.
Now on to the Facebook posts. On Facebook, we had a bunch of responses. Danny asks, how exactly do ghosts travel?
All right, the question from Danny is, how exactly do ghosts travel? That is a great question, and because not much is known about the logistics of traveling ghosts. Now, we do know one way for sure that ghosts can travel. One way that we do know that's documented time and time again is that ghosts can travel if they're attached to humans. So if you have an attachment, if you have a strong attachment, that ghost can travel with you. And so that's one known way, is by attaching to a human. Also, there are haunted objects. For instance, Greg and Dana, with their haunted museum, they have a ton of objects, especially like Billy. And if a spirit is truly attached to an object, like if its energy is imbued into the item, then it can also travel by traveling wherever the item goes. Now, those are two ways that we know ghosts can travel for sure. Now, past those two ways, past a human attachment or a physical item attachment, I don't know. Because we do get communication from spirits who might not be around at the time. It almost seems like spirits are able to transmit messages, or they're able to communicate. Oh my goodness, that's a scary looking turn. It's not actually scary, it just looks scary. These windy freaking mountainous country roads. I even took a way to avoid the majority of this, but this isn't too bad compared to the original way. And this is about the same as traveling through West Virginia. But yeah, so ghosts can travel those two ways. And then as far as like reaching a ghost that's like that they might have passed away in a different country, or they might have been gone for a long time, I think that where ghosts are, time and space are everywhere all the time. And so they could be in one location and then immediately be in another location if the spirit is a boundless energy, if their energy is not stuck and not trapped somewhere, if they're not stuck in an emotional loop, if they're not stuck in some kind of vengeance or past deed or past regression, then they might be able to travel infinitely or immediately. And it all depends. But as far as for sure methods, human attachment and physical item attachment. All right, that was a great question. Let's get to the next one.
Dory W says, I think we're dealing with multiple dimensions. Elementals, alien, PK, residual versus intelligent, cryptids, etc.
Dory, that's Dory's question. So Dory says she thinks we're dealing with multiple dimensions. And that's something that comes up over and over again. So like the longer you're in the field, the more that you'll hear that. And if you watch any of the fringe science videos, or even some of the mainstream science videos, talk about multiple dimensions now. But it's become pretty common knowledge that there are parallel universes. For instance, the people at D-Wave who make the quantum computers, they are accessing 2 different parallel dimensions with their quantum computers. And this is how they explain the computer. This isn't theory, this isn't conspiracy, this isn't anything like that. This is how they explain the computer. The quantum computer can access the probability from the parallel universe to the left and the parallel universe to the right at the same time, while being in our reality, while being in our universe. And so that's how it's able to gain that extra option. Instead of just 1 and 0, it's 1, 0, 1, and 0. And that opens up infinite computing power. They're literally processing things with the power of information from multiple parallel universes. And that opens up the idea of, are these hauntings not only from our universe, but are we also seeing the hauntings from parallel universes? Because if we're to believe D-Wave and the quantum computer companies, and the quantum computer company D-Wave making all this stuff, and the people who work for them, then that means that there is at least 2 parallel universes that touch our universe, that are actually bordered up against ours. And they believe that they're infinitely similar universes, that they're only slightly different, that there's only slight nuances between the universes. That also opens up a lot of theories about CERN and the particle collider and the test they did where they got the particle to travel faster than the speed of light. And yes, I know a bunch of people are going to say, well, they debunked that like 10 years later. Yeah, they debunked it very suspiciously, because when it first happened, they didn't believe it. And they sent it to multiple Hadron Collider facilities around the world to run the data. And the one they were most interested in is China's. China has a massive Hadron Collider center that they wanted the data ran at. And they ran it, and China confirmed that the data was correct. And what that means is CERN was able to send a particle around that magnetic track faster than the speed of light. And their initial explanation for this was that the particle was able to travel through a wormhole. And that was their official wording, wormhole. And what that means is the particle found a faster route that involved temporarily leaving this reality and then reappearing in this reality, but taking a shortcut through a different reality. What's this mean for the paranormal? What does that mean for spirit communication? It means that it is possible for things to come and go from this reality. It is possible for something from somewhere else to come through and talk to us. It's possible for little tiny bits of data. We know for sure that at least a particle can come and go through our universe and into another one. Also, the theory with ghosts that they're tiny amounts of energy, that they might be like a minute amount of energy, small enough to where they could feasibly phase in and out. They could phase in and out of this reality and the next. So I do believe that there are multiple dimensions at work, and I do believe that when we try hard enough, we might be able to interact with them. Also, think about this. Wonder if a lot of the manifestations are PK ability, psychokinetic, where we are creating the evidence, we're creating the manifestations by generating the paranormal phenomenon from our own energy. And this could happen a number of ways. This could be us projecting a thought so loudly that the recorder picks it up, or that the gateway picks it up. Or it could be projecting the idea of communicating with the ghost so hard that the ghost actually shows up and the ghost actually phases into existence temporarily because we brought it into existence by thinking about it so hard, or by conjuring it so hard. So the multiple dimension theory mixed with the PK theory would state that someone with enough PK ability could, in fact, bring something through from the other side. Just by sheer will alone. And that's pretty big. If we could test that, if we could sit down, create some controls, and actually test that, is it? What the hell? Oh. I thought that truck was turning against traffic. Guys, I got a shaky wheel. I'll probably need to air up the tires before I leave. Man, I've got to pee. All right, I've got a little under an hour before I'm at my destination and can take a leak. So that's not too bad. I can probably hold it. I can probably hold it through then. But Dory, that was a great question. Let's listen to the next one. Also, let's get you all a view real quick of the situation. It's a beautiful day. I wonder why, when live streaming, I can't use the wide angle cam. You would think they'd have an option to where we could use the wide angle. All right, before we go down this turn here, better flip that back around. All right, we're cruising through the turn. These turns look way more vicious than they actually are. It's especially brutal at night. Thankfully, I won't have to drive at night this trip. Also, I do want to say, I finally, after years, for whatever reason, I finally started watching The Umbrella Academy. And you would think, me being an anime character, you would think I would know about The Umbrella Academy. Well, I've heard of it. And, of course, I love My Chemical Romance. Gerard Way wrote the comics. Him and like some girl named Gabriella or something like that. And so the show is based on his comics. Anyways, Umbrella Academy, very nice. Very nice. Very cool show. I'm only like 6 or 7 episodes in. No, I'm 5.5 episodes in. And it's a good show. It's a good show. Your boy recommends it. All right, next question.
On YouTube, Prehistoric Matt asks,
Oh no!
"Have you asked the dead exactly why and how
I started it over.
can be lives, spirit, needs to be in place, trying to oppose and not assuming the investigation will induce delivery. Enjoy it. Future Eric, enjoy it the rest of your road trip.
Oh wait.
Gina asks, I would like to know what it takes to help trap spirit, enter the algorithm, etc. Elemental says, I think we're dealing with multiple dimensions.
All right, that was the question we just answered.
Alien, PK, residual versus intelligent, cryptids, etc.
All right, now the next question.
Dory, that's a good point. Gina Lewis
Gina,
says Randonautica is an app.
is there an EVP there?
Okay, says Random. That's a good point. Gina Lewis says Random.
I think there's an EVP there.
Lewis
Right
says
there.
Randonautica.
Gina Lewis, there's like a...
Says
Right there.
Randonautica. Gina Lewis said Randonautica.
One more replay with it slowed down. Right there.
Says Randonautica. Gina Lewis says Randonautica is an app with an algorithm that has managed to gain loads of publicity. Interesting. And then Gina asks, I would like to know what it takes to help trap spirits on. Is it a prayer? If so, why can't they pray for themselves? Why does someone else have to do it? I don't understand why some spirits are apparently trapped here against their will, Why can they not just move on when they are ready?
That's a great question. So Gina's asking, why can't spirits move on when they're ready? I believe some can. I do believe some can. I believe some stay for a while. They stay for as long as it takes, and then they'll move on. And that girl was cute, and she was totally looking at me. I wonder if she could see me like holding the recorder up to the phone. I wonder if she could see the live stream. She's on the back of that motorcycle. Anyways, so Gina's asking, like, if they're trapped, what's it really take to move them on? Why are they trapped? Why can't they move on themselves? Again, I think some can. I do think it takes more than prayer. I think it takes a powerful prayer. A prayer with so much intention and focus.
Use the second from the left lane to turn left onto US 421 South, US 58 East.
Why don't you throw some more numbers at me there, girl? All right. Oh, man, this person's going slow. Whoa, where am I turning? Right here?
Use the second from the left lane to turn left onto US 421 South, US 58 East.
Gotcha, baby. No problem. No problem. So, the question. I do think spirits can move on themselves in certain circumstances. I think part of the reason spirits get stuck and trapped is because they get lost. And I'm not saying...
In a quarter mile, continue straight onto Virginia 224 South.
I'm not saying they get lost physically. I'm not saying they, like, don't know where they're at. I think they lose themselves because once they've died, once they've transitioned over, and they don't...
Continue straight onto Virginia 224 South.
And they don't transition over, like when a spirit doesn't cross over, I think
Continue for 3 miles.
they continuously lose their memories. Because they have no brain, they have no hard drive for those memories to be stored. And the only things they can remember are things that are stored in their soul, in their actual physical energy, or their actual spirit, their actual soul. And those things are few and far between. Only the most intense emotional things are going to be stored in the soul or onto the soul. It's more like they're imprinted onto the soul. And I think over time they forget their name, they forget who they are, they forget what they are. A lot of times when you first encounter a spirit that might not have been, awake for a long time, if you will, or they might not have talked to anybody in a long time, one of the first things spirits will always say is the word what. They will say, what? And you'll catch it on gateways, on EVPs. When a spirit is almost like reawakening, when they're like coming to consciousness, they'll say, what? And then they'll ask, who is this? That's another question they'll often ask when they're regaining consciousness, if you will. And I think them losing themselves makes it nearly impossible for them to move on. One thing that's interesting, though, is some spirits will request the Bible. They'll request Jesus. They'll request prayer. And this happens to almost every investigator. A spirit will ask for some type of religious thing. And maybe the spirit has become aware enough to know that they need last rites, that they need some type of connection to the light. They need to be reconnected with the light in order to move on. And that's where the light session comes in, because all of us are connected to the light. All of us are connected to the light, and we exist in the darkness. And whenever you turn yourself away from the light, you can lose sight of the connection, but you never actually lose the connection. Because without the connection, you couldn't exist here, even in spirit form. Even in ghost form, you couldn't exist here without that connection. And in a light session, our job is to reconnect the spirit to the light. Basically, we're just trying to get them to re-see the light. We're trying to get them to understand that it's still connected to them, and they have to be aware of it. Once they're aware of it, once they can see it, they can grab onto it, they can call to the Lord, they can go to the light. So anyways, that's a roundabout way of saying, yes, spirits can move on themselves if they figure it out, if they get with it over time, but we can also help them move along if we can get them to reconnect to the light. All right, next question.
That's a wonderful question. Gina also asks, do traumatic events leave an imprint on the building or the area? Does the memory get replayed over and over? If so, for how long? Can one spirit hold other spirits captive? How then,
In half a mile, turn left onto Chadwell Road.
Assuming that you believe in demonic spirits, what is their intention and why? Why do so many spirits seem to be asking for help? Do
Welcome to
spirits have any
Tennessee.
concept of time? Gina, these are great questions.
So that was a bunch of questions, and I've also changed
Turn
states
left
again.
onto Chadwell Road.
We're going on some back roads. All right, so there's a bunch of questions there. I'm going to have to rewind that and dissect it a little bit.
Continue on Chadwell Road for 1.5 miles.
Concept, why do you believe in period?
All right.
Gina also asks, do traumatic events leave an imprint on the building or the area? Does the memory get replayed over and over? If so, for how long?
This is a tiny road. Okay. Woo. So she's asking about residual energy and residual imprints, energy imprints. And there's enough documentation of it within the paranormal field to say definitively, yes, there is some type of energy replay that happens that we call residual. We call it residual energy. Now, she had an interesting question to go along with that. How long do they replay for? Now that I don't know. So the Ghost Hunter groups, TAPS, TAPS, the people who did the Ghost Hunter show, they used to do a lot of experiments like that way back in the day. That's how I found out about the ultraviolet thing affecting dark entities. And this is something else that they did. They were researching the longest running haunting, and they found, I think the longest one they found was in the UK somewhere, and it was a ghost from 500 years ago. But beyond that, they found no records or evidence of ghosts beyond 500 years, and most were 300 years max or newer. So they have a theory that after 100 years time, the energy, whatever the energy is, whether
1/4 mile, turn left onto Bloomingdale Road. Take the next left onto Bloomingdale Road.
guys, they got me driving through a freaking neighborhood. Well, you can't see it anymore, I don't think. Oh, this is not a 4-way stop. That's good to know. Oh my goodness, guys, the other day I was driving somewhere, and oh, here goes another car, and this MFer ran the stop sign, and so I just about got freaking sideswiped because this MFer just straight up ran the stop sign.
Bloomingdale Road for 4 miles.
And oh yeah, I was at the Cincinnati Outlet Mall, and this dude just comes flying, and he just runs straight through the stop sign, and I about got just creamed. It was a close call, and the dude he didn't even care. Didn't have a care in the world. Anyways, so I don't know how far y'all heard me, but what I was saying is that investigation into how long a haunting lasts, I believe it was conducted by members of the Ghost Hunter team TAPS, the people from the Ghost Hunter show. And don't quote me on that though, because I can't remember exactly if it was like Rodriguez or I can't remember who it was. It might have been someone affiliated with them. I don't know, but I believe it was members of TAPS who conducted that research. And I know for sure they're the members of TAPS are the ones who conducted the research into the ultraviolet light. I know that one for sure because that one just blew my mind. And basically their research found that the dark entities wouldn't cross the ultraviolet light. They would do what they could to stay away from it. And I believe the ultraviolet light has something to do with the light, like the light of the Lord, the light of the sun. It's also ultraviolet light. It kills bacteria. It also burns our skin and causes like issues with the like ultraviolet light is serious business. All right, so back to the question at hand, though, with the residual hauntings. I think we answered that one in depth. Let's check out the next question. Yeah, so how long on a residual? I'd say 500 years maximum.
Can one spirit hold other spirits captive? How then could someone help them be released?
Can another spirit hold a spirit captive? How then can that spirit be released? Well, there's a two-pronged attack to that situation. First, you have to attempt to banish the one spirit, the spirit causing the issues. And when you do this, I'm just going to assume we're not back based on the reconnecting. Oh, there goes the recorder. Oh, we are back. Okay. So basically, guys, what I was saying, if there's a spirit holding another spirit captive, you first have to attempt to banish the bad spirit, and you run the risk of banishing both spirits when you do that. So the next thing you have to do is attempt to separate the spirits before doing the banishing, which is extremely tough. And then, like what I used to do back in the day, I would tell the good spirit to attach to me, which is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. You shouldn't do that. But I was young and naive, and so I would tell the good spirit to attach to me. Then I would do a cleansing of the property or the home. Then I would make direct contact with the good spirit and attempt to cross him over with a light session. And I had mixed results. Some spirits go down swinging, and if they're as powerful as Nick, I had to do the actual banishing ritual twice, along with full saging of the house, full salt ritual of the house, upstairs and downstairs, and the full banishing ritual. I had to do it all twice before Nick was actually entirely kicked out of the home. And I think the first time it didn't work because I didn't have the banishing ritual memorized.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Alice Bowers Hill Road.
I didn't have the banishing ritual exactly memorized, but by the second time, I had practiced it enough to where I was able to say it with force. I was able to say it with energy behind the words, and I think that worked. I think that was the difference that made it work, rather. I know it worked to get him out of the house, but I think the difference was...
Take the next right onto Alice Bowers Hill Road, then turn left onto US 11 West North.
Got it. I can't wait to pee. That's going to be a good time.
Turn left onto US 11 West North.
Let me loosen up this belt here. Maybe that'll take some pressure off the bladder. So yeah, that's my answer for that. Also, you can also, instead of trying to banish the bad spirit, you can just try a light session. And if you have enough guides with you, if you have enough energy yourself, and if you have enough spunk in you, then you might be able to get the good spirit to latch onto the light. Oh, I should have went. All right, they're going too slow. I've got to go.
Continue on US 11 West North for 10 miles.
Come on, car. Pick it up, baby. Love this car. Next question. So, Gina, these are great questions.
Assuming that you believe in demonic spirits, what is their intention and why?
Assuming you believe in demonic spirits, what is their intentions and why? So, that's another great question. And I do believe in demonic spirits. When I was younger, when I was a young investigator, I didn't. Well, let me rephrase that. I believed that demonic spirits probably exist because there's so much lore about them. However, I didn't believe that they would interact with investigators. I was naive. I was young. And the truth of the matter is demonic spirits are going to do whatever they want or whatever they're told to do by their superior demonic spirit. And that's the best I can tell. I do think that there is a hierarchy of evil spirits, that they have some type of structure, some type of order, and they've got plans. And I think part of their plans come from interacting with humans who have turned to the dark side, if you will, and are working with them. And I'm sure they have some kind of grand scheme that they're working, and we're part of it. I think investigators are part of their scheme, which is always super worrisome. Oh no, it's definitely a bug bite. Oh, that's so creepy. That means a bug was on my shoulder at some point and bit it. Guys, I got this like gigantic bug bite on the center of my back, which is ridiculous because I always wear like at least 2 layers. And it's like, man, it stinks through here. Well, someone hit someone's memorial. There was a memorial thing on the side of the road, and clearly someone ran over it. That's brutal. And it smells bad through here. I'm almost thinking we should do like an EVP or something. Oh, I just lost our place. Oh my goodness. Is there a spirit out here wanting to talk to us?
Is there a spirit out here wanting to talk to us?
There's a stoplight up here. I realize we should use the other recorder. Alright guys, I'll be streaming for like another 10-15 minutes, and then I'll hop off here. Let's do another EVP real quick though. With the one that Pops Metal got us. Is there a spirit trying to come through? This one will be harder to hear for sure. Oh my god, this is going to be impossible. I hear something at the beginning. In front of me slowing way down. So I'm going to have to pass him. All right, at the very beginning, I'm hearing like something weird. I'm going to try and see if y'all can maybe hear this. Is that the right one? Yeah.
You're trying to come through.
Whoa. I want sleep.
You're trying to come through.
There's no way y'all gonna be able to hear that. It says I want sleep. Here, I'll try it again. The road seems a little smoother here.
Is there a spirit trying to come through?
It was right there. It was like, I want sleep. I don't know. I doubt you're gonna be able to pick it up. I should have had the speaker out, but I don't know where it's at. Anyways, let's get back to the questions because we're running out of time.
On YouTube, previous on YouTube on Shadow of Me, Anthony Crow, he believes. Gina Lewis.
There we go.
Says random Nautica. Traps are apparently trapped here against their will. That's a wonderful question. Leaving the spirits captive. How then could someone help them be released? Assuming they believe in demonic spirits, what is their intention and why? Why do so many spirits seem to be asking for help? Do spirits have any concept of time?
Why do some of these spirits seem to be asking for help? And do spirits have any concept of time? So I think spirits are asking for help because they feel like they're stuck, trapped, and lost. Remember, we talked about earlier, spirits, I believe, they lose their sense of identity after some time if they haven't moved on. Like if they didn't go to the light, if they didn't transition, if they stayed here, over time, I think they forget who they are, they forget what they are, and then all of a sudden, they find themselves in the dark with no memories. In the dark, no memories, no light that they can find. And so they start, and then all of a sudden they hear like you or me, an investigator, calling out to them. So they start asking for help. They just say help because they feel like they're trapped, they're stuck. I think that's why we get the helps. And then the flip side of demonic spirit that they need us, that they need our assistance. And they'll just keep asking for it over and over again. And then the third side of the coin is residual energy. So I think a lot of the helps that I get at Post Town, for instance, I believe that a lot of those are actually residual captures from the train wrecks. Now, well, it's going to be a big gas station. Nice. Daryl is saying that he feels like it's less and less to do with the train wrecks and more to do with just the randomness that goes on there and like the different things that happen to the kids and that kind of stuff. But I know from my experience that there is energy from the train wrecks there. We've captured it numerous times, but I do believe that that energy is residual. And when we get all those helps coming through at Post, I believe those helps are mainly from the train.
In a quarter mile, use the right lane to
right, so I'm finally on another stretch of interstate. There's the cell towers, nice. So we should have signal for a couple minutes. Do spirits have any concept of time or of the passage of time? I think after a few days, if the spirit hasn't moved on, I think the first few days, maybe even the first week or two after someone passes, if they decide to stay here, I think they remain fairly normal. Like, I think they can see, I think they can hear, and I think the concept of time moves. And once they're there, time ceases to exist. Once they become truly, purely spirit energy that hasn't transitioned, spirit energy that hasn't moved on, I believe that their sense of time ceases to exist. And it's almost like, let me put it this way. When you're asleep, when you're sleeping, do you have any sense of passage of time? Like, when you're asleep, are you aware of the minutes passing by? You're not. When you go into the dream state, time passes differently when you're in your dream. But as far as the actual time passing of reality, when you're asleep, you have no idea, no clue. And yes, everyone has an internal clock. Some people can tell themselves to wake up in 2 hours and 15 minutes, and they will, and they do. And I think actually everyone can do that. If you right before you go to bed, if you say, I need to wake up in 2 hours and 15 minutes exactly, if you're not super tired, I think you'll wake up at that exact time. I've done it numerous times before when I've had something important the next day. But anyways, my whole point is the spirits, their passage of time is equivalent to like when we're sleeping. It's just non-existent. I do believe that they can interact with us in real time, even disregarding that, because their interaction with us doesn't require time on their part like it does on our part. I hope that makes sense. Someone throwing it down? Was that Arden? Arden Paranormal throwing it down on the super chat? What's good? Thank you so much for throwing it down and keeping it lit. Thank you for being here on this epic Q&A. Can we see some love? Can we see some fire in the chat? Is that RJ? RJ Litness? All right, guys. I think there's only a couple questions. So I came up with a few questions too, but let's see what's left.
Gina, these are great questions. Sandy Wolflet asks, do you feel the more a place is investigated, a portal is open, making the location more haunted?
Sandy, that is such a great question. Sandy says, do you think investigators investigating haunted places makes it more haunted? I think it does. Also, here's something to trip you out. What if paranormal investigators are the ghosts of these haunted locations? What if all the energy imprints and residual imprints and communication sessions, what if all of that is the haunting for future investigators? I think as investigators, I think we are doing something to the environment spiritually that we're just completely unaware of. And I think it could go as far as saying that it could actually be we are creating future hauntings in all the locations. And imagine, because with me, I have a handful of locations I visit regularly. So in the future, there will be investigators potentially regularly contacting me at 3 different locations. And potentially more than that, because I've been to a whole lot of locations, but specifically there's 3 that I go to all the time. And it's definitely possible that in the future they'll at least pick up residual captures of me investigating, which is pretty wild. But I think it's something else too. And Sandy used the word portal. She said, do you think investigators constantly investigating these haunted locations is opening a portal or creating a portal or making the portal bigger than it already is? And I really think it does. I really, really think it does. Because when we're investigating, we're opening and inviting energy through that place, through that space, through across multiple times. And I think what this does is it creates a bigger and bigger pinpoint, a bigger rift for energies and entities on the other side to come to. And eventually, something bad's going to happen. Because, think of it this way. At the Conjuring House in Rhode Island, that place, I feel like if people keep investigating it, something really bad's going to happen. Because the entity, whatever entity's there on that property, on that land, the entity that was there back in the day, regardless of if it's the same entity or not, there is something scary AF out there. And it's not at full power. It may not be fully awake. This might just be us experiencing parts of its energy from its dreams. But there is something out there that is going to awaken. And it's going to be much scarier than people think. And I think it's possible that it could be that way for a lot of locations. There could be a lot of entities ready to come through a lot of different locations and just mess stuff up. So we're playing with fire. We're playing with fire that we can't even see. That's what makes it so much more dangerous. Not only are we playing with fire, juggling it around, throwing it around, we can't even see fire that we're playing with. It's like we're lighting matches and throwing them on the ground, waiting for something to catch on fire, and we won't even see it until it's too late. Now, that being said, for all the evil, for all the dark spirits that want to come through, there's just as many good spirits, there's just as many good energies working to prevent that. There's just positive spirits and positive energies trying to help us, trying to make sure that nothing bad happens. In some places, let me put it this way too, some places would be active even if an investigator never set foot there. And I think that's true for some of the window areas on the planet that are active regardless of what we do. I think Post Town is on a window area. I think that patch land in that area, and there's like, first off, the way the building's designed with a massive copper antenna and a copper bell at the top of the building, plus there's a river that's literally, you could probably use a slingshot and slingshot a rock into the river over the trees out in front of the school. Like, that's how close it is. And there's a train track on the other side of it. So Post Town has a train track running directly behind it, like almost through it. And then there's a river on the other side of it. So you got running water, you got the freaking railroad line, and you've got the copper freaking pole, the copper antenna on top of the building. It's just a hodgepodge of, even if no one visited it 30 years, I think that building would continue to be haunted. The person's got a lot of boats. Those are all boats. It's at least 3 different boats. I don't know if they're canoes or what, but something or another. Alright, everyone's passing this car in front of me. I'm gonna have to pass it too. But yeah, I do think that investigators are creating or opening portals. I think a portal is any spot where an entity or energy can come through. Alright, I guess I'm also going to be passing because this car does not seem like they're going to get over. Which is interesting considering they're in the fast lane. You would think they would understand. It don't matter. It don't matter. Next question.
That's a great question. Danny says, I would love to know your thoughts about intelligent spirits and rest energies or residual energies.
Alright, so Danny's asking about intelligent spirits versus residual energies. And I do believe that there's a clear difference between an intelligent spirit and a residual spirit. And I think what throws a lot of people off is that a lot of the residual energies and spirits will say help. And that residual imprint of someone calling out for help at first. But then after you try to interact, and then you start slowly realizing that the spirit isn't responding back to you, they're only calling out for help. Intricate, and they can be unpredictable, which kind of looks like an intelligent haunting. But it takes persistence and continuous investigation of. The best way to determine that is through direct responses. If you can get an entity damn it, try to reconnect to the same tower, but did it work? So what I was saying, I don't know if we're back or not, but what I was saying is to determine if it's an intelligent spirit, you got to look for direct responses, whether it be EVP, gateway, REM pod. If you can get a direct, clear response, or even strike up a clear conversation, then you know for sure you're dealing with an intelligent entity and not just a residual capture. Great question.
And then Sandy Wolfwood has a couple questions here. What is the best evidence you have captured to date?
Sandy asking, what is the best evidence you've captured to date? Well, it depends. That the best EVP capture I got was probably on the Olympus 72 hundo in the basement, where the spirit says, "You wouldn't love me, get off of me." Those are just so clear and loud, and those were captured with voice activation on, with the recorder just left in the basement. And those are really good. But obviously, like, my best visual capture still to this day is probably Sarah's stairwell at Post Town Elementary. There's a kid spirit on the rail, or it's a spirit the size of a kid on the railing, and then out of nowhere a black shadow comes, and it looks like it either pushes it or like consumes it, and the very last frame of the kid spirit explodes. The frame explodes. So we captured two different spirits through two different manifestations interacting with each other on camera. And so that still has to be my best visual capture. And then probably second best is the crazy stuff we captured at Post Town just this last time with Daryl. Daryl investigated with us, the owner, the caretaker. He investigated with us, and we captured some just mind-blowing SLS evidence again in Sarah's stairwell. There's one point during that manifestation where Daryl senses something behind him, the map shows up, and then the REM pod goes off. Daryl senses it, he hears two steps behind him, feels it go past him, the map appears on the camera, and then the REM pod goes off after it had been silent for a while. And so that's a really good one. Trying to think, what are some of my other best captures? Revenant Acres, we did capture that spirit interacting with an orb. It looks like it like picks up an orb and then like throws it, and then it dodges another orb. It's really weird. It's really weird. Is that Paranormal Voice? Is that Jane throwing it down on the super chat? What is good? Jane, thank you for being here. Guys, can we see some love? Can we see some fire for Jane in the chat? That's what's up. That's what's up. You feeling me? All right, Sandy Wolfley has another question. I think I know what it is, but let's listen and see what it is.
And what is your favorite piece of gear to use on an investigation?
So Sandy asks, what is my favorite piece of gear to use on an investigation? I don't. All right, I think we're back. So guys, I don't think I have a one specific favorite piece. Maybe the gateway device. Okay, let's just be real here. I think the gateway device might be my favorite, but I'm all the time experimenting with new stuff. For instance, this recorder that Pops Metal got me, it freaking rocks. Like, it is just crazy. We found some new signal for the spirits to use using this recorder, and it's just mind-blowing. We got the Void Ripper, of course, the Epic SLS camera. It's a beast, and I love using all of it in combination. I wonder if we're back. Hello. Amber, your question might be on here. So yeah, as far as favorite gear goes, I love all the gear. I love working with new gear. I love my gateways. My gateway devices are my babies. And, I have a really hard time selling them. It just so weird, like, and that's wrong. Like, that's wrong. And so I don't know. It's like really hard for me to sell gateway devices. Anyways, next question.
Amber Lynch asks, have you heard from Maxine or Frank lately?
Amber. So Amber, there's your question. I think it was the last question to get into the mix. So Amber Lynch asks, have you heard from Maxine or Frank lately? A few months ago, Maxine's name came through, and it always jars me pretty hard when I hear Maxine or Frank on the gateway device or on EVP, because I had such a connection with them. I had such a close connection with Maxine and Frank. And it hurts. It hurts to think about the fact that they're gone. And there's been some we've gotten some very disturbing stuff over the years. Like, for instance, we got an EVP saying that they were captured, that Frank and Maxine were captured. And then like 6 or 7 months passed, and there was a gateway communication that said Frank escaped. And then Frank talked to me on my birthday like 2 or 3 years ago. I hooked up 3 gateway devices. I had 3 gateways running. 2 of them were physical and 1 was digital. And once I hooked all 3 of them up, then Frank came through and talked to us. It was like we had to go through a whole lot to get him to come through. And I don't know what happened. I hope they're okay. They used to be right there with me, and anytime I do a session, they would come through. When I got my very first Kinect camera and I plugged it up in the living room, I plugged it up to my laptop, I got the software set up, I turned it on for the first time, and as soon as the image came on the screen, there was a spirit on the left of me and a spirit on the right of me. So I was in the center of my living room, and behind me it was just there's no objects or anything behind me. It was just open space between me and the wall. And on my left and on my right, there were spirits. As soon as I turned it, the very first time I turned it on, it was Frank and Maxine. They were there. They were checking it out. They wanted to know what the camera was. They wanted to know what the deal was. And they were just like that. Like, Frank could come through on any device, any piece of equipment. He would come through on the microphone a lot. So back when I was using the ambient amplification through the gateway, way back in the day for the first time. He was able to come through on that just no problem. No problem at all. And so I miss Frank and Maxine dearly. And I hope they're okay. I pray nothing bad happened to them. They were different. They were different.
In 2 miles, take exit 29 for Virginia.
All right, so guys, I've got to hop off here. This has been awesome. That was all the questions, by the way. I got all the questions that were asked on YouTube and Facebook, which is awesome. Considering all the downtime and everything, we got through all the questions. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. So I'll be live in about 4 hours or so, because I got to get there. I got to unload. I got to meet up with the people. And I'm sure there's going to be some kind of like introduction or tour. Then we got to get our gear out and everything. So I'll be live. Maybe not that long. Jeez, what am I thinking? I'll be live in like an hour and a half, 2 hours probably. That'll probably be the situation. All right, I love y'all. I got to pass this person or this thing, whatever this thing is. But yeah, so guys, keep your eyes and ears peeled. I'll be posting it. Hopefully I can post the stream like 30 minutes before it starts. But I love y'all. Stay awesome. Stay tuned. Stay lit. Stay epic. And guys, I will see you tonight. Boots on the ground. On location. Let's go. Let's get it. Love you guys. Thanks for this awesome Q&A. This has truly been awesome. Great questions, by the way. Everyone who submitted a question on Facebook and YouTube, thank you. You are the heroes of this stream. Love y'all. Peace, fam.
Toward Damascus, Glade Spring.
Love y'all.